Good evening and welcome to today's online seminars. Guys, can you hear me? Hello Hari Prasad. Hello Krishna. Hello Trilok, Suri. Hey guys. So how's it going? Hello Kush. Hi Hari Prasad. Hello Vikram. Hi Samarth. Kush says it's good, thank you. Hello Fateh. How are you guys? All charged up for today's online seminar? Fateh says yes. Santosh says yes. Hello Santosh. Hello Suri. Okay, I'm already getting some questions from you guys. Trilok is asking, sir, how to get a score of more than 320. Okay. Guys, can you see what is on the screen? Can you see the screen, guys? Okay, and are you able to hear me properly? Loud and clear? Yes, Santosh, yeah, just a poster. Alright. Sachin has the same question as Trilok. Okay, Santosh says voice is good. Thank you, Santosh. I don't know if that was a compliment meant for me or you are saying that audio is clear. Alright. Okay, guys. So guys, before we start, let me ask you, what are your expectations from today's online seminar? Like Trilok has already said, he wants to know how to score 320 or above. How to get 160 in verbal section. Aditya says. How to get at least 15 right answers from verbal. Sandeep has the same question. How to get 310 and above. Trisha says, okay. Alright guys, I'll be answering all of your questions in today's online seminar. Okay. And yeah, all of your doubts, all of your queries I'll be answering in today's online seminar. Okay. And alright, I forgot to ask you, where are you guys attending the seminar from? Where are you guys attending the seminar from? Okay. Home, Gurgaon. Kush from Gurgaon, Hari Prasad from Hyderabad. Okay. Nikhil from Hyderabad. Rohit from Nanded, Maharashtra. Okay. Again, Shiva from Hyderabad, Aditya from Chennai, Rohit from Pune, Santosh from Vizag. Okay, I myself am from Vizag. Cool. Karthik from Hyderabad, Krishna from Eluru, Ishani from Hisar. Am I pronouncing the name right? Hisar, Ishani? Okay. Alright guys, I see students attending from all over India. Okay, we've got a good number of attendance here. Okay, so we are going to rock today's online seminar and learn how to crack GRE verbal. Okay, so since verbal is a huge syllabus, huge syllabus in GRE. Okay, it's quite difficult. It's quite it's quite impossible that we would be able to do the whole thing in 1 hour. But what I'll do is I'll tell you all the fundamentals, all the basics of GRE verbal today. Okay, so that using all these fundamentals that you learn today, you'll be able to apply them and and hopefully improve your GRE score effectively. Okay. All right, guys. I'll okay. Sandeep doesn't hear me. Okay. Guys, are you able to hear me? Yes, Santosh. Good thing that you asked, guys. This will be an online seminar where I'll be speaking. Okay, I'll be presenting. I'll show you some slides and tell you the tips and techniques necessary to crack GRE verbal, and I'll be speaking most of the time. Okay, and if you have any questions relating to the topic that we are discussing, then you can type it straight away in the chat box, and I'll take your question and answer it straight away. Okay, and if you have any questions that are outside of the topic that we are discussing, then we'll have a question and answer session at the end of the session. All right. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay, Pankaj, I'll take your questions and I'll definitely answer you during the course of the seminar. Okay. Noel is already ready. Okay. All right. Okay. Let me also ask you, how many of you want to invite your friends to the online seminar? You might think that my friend is also writing GRE and he would want to attend this seminar. It would be helpful for him. In that case, if it's so, if you want to invite your friends as well to the online seminar, what you can do is you can go to our Facebook page, GREedge official Facebook page. There you'll see an invitation, the latest post that says how to crack GRE verbal. Okay, you'll see a link there. You can share the link with your friends, or you can tag or comment on that particular post, or you can share it on your friends' wall so that they know uh, they know you are attending the online seminar from, and I've hopefully it'll be helpful for them as well. Okay. Okay, Gursharan, you'll be muted. Guys, you all will be muted by default. The only one who is unmuted here is me. Okay, so I'll be asking questions. I'll be taking the seminar. Okay, you can type in your doubts. Do type in your doubts and ask me questions as we move on. Okay, but make sure we don't deviate too much from the topic. Okay, and the topic that we are discussing, if you can ask me questions regarding that, I'll definitely answer them. But if your questions are out of any other GRE related topic, then I'll be happy to answer them at the end of the seminar, because I don't want to deviate from the topic, and uh, I want to make the most of this time. And since we cannot it's highly impossible that we can cover the whole GRE verbal section in 1 hour. I'll try to give the maximum as much as possible. Okay. All right. Let's without much ado, let's start today's online seminar. And let me also introduce myself. I'm Mani Kumar, and I'll be the presenter for today's online seminar. I have been a senior GRE advisor for a couple of years now at GREedge. Yeah, I've been helping students learn GRE vocabulary. Okay, and I've researched of various techniques, various methods, how students learn and their learning patterns. Okay, and based on that, I prepared this seminar. Okay, hopefully this will you'll find this interesting and helpful and informative, just like more than 1,000 students that I've helped, and they've definitely found it helpful. So hopefully you'll find it helpful too. Okay. All right. Now starting with GRE verbal. Okay. So now let me ask you a question. GRE verbal. What is GRE verbal? If somebody asks you what is GRE verbal, if somebody asks you what is GRE verbal, what would you say? Okay, Pankaj has given a straightforward answer. Says RCTCSE. Okay, correct. You guys are correct. Yeah, it's a part of the GRE syllabus. It tests our verbal reasoning skills. Okay. Now let me ask you, Okay, Vidya says something related to English language. Okay, uh, I yes, it's definitely related to English language, but not exactly uh, English language. Okay, I'll tell you. Uh, if you think verbal reasoning is just your English vocabulary, then it's not correct. Okay, verbal reasoning is your ability to reason uh, a particular usage statement, a particular usage in grammar in English language. Okay, if you use a particular word with another word, why are we using that in that way? Okay, why are we using this word with that particular word? If you can reason that, okay, the ability in you to reason that particular thing is called verbal reasoning. It has nothing to do with your English language skills. Okay, you may be reading novels from your childhood. Okay, you must be very good in speaking English, but still you might not be very good in verbal reasoning. Okay, because it's your reasoning abilities, your reasoning skills, okay, that that will help you assess your verbal reasoning. Okay, and that is why most of Indians and Chinese are able to score well in verbal, in spite of not having English as the native language. Okay, so verbal reasoning is quite different from your English language. If you think I've been studying novels from my childhood, I'll easily crack it, then I guess you are not correct. Okay, and if you think uh, and if you think the opposite, okay, that I haven't been reading novels from my childhood and I don't even speak English, how will I do that? Then you're then again then again I would say you're wrong, because it's all about your verbal reasoning skills. A guy who has never heard of English can do can do wonders in GRE verbal. Okay, so based on this thing, okay, and keeping this in mind, we'll start with the agenda. Okay, I'll show you some example question types. Okay, then we'll go to GRE vocab, some tips and techniques I'll show you. Okay, and I'll tell you how to remember words. Then we'll move on to reading comprehension. Yeah, then we'll show you some students GRE experience. Okay, and then how GRE will help you in your preparation. And at the end we'll have a question and answer session, and also we'll have a surprise announcement at the end. So I'd request you not to leave. We'll have a surprise announcement at the end. Okay. All right. Okay. So guys, shall we start? Ready to see some examples of actual GRE? Okay. Vidya is asking how much time does it require to reach the best level from nothing. Okay. Uh, Vidya, it depends on your skill level, where you currently stand and where you want to reach. Okay. It's a subjective answer. Okay. Uh, while we go with the seminar, I'll explain that in detail. Okay. All right. Under ethical guidelines recently adopted by the National Institute of Health, human genes are to be manipulated only to correct diseases for which dash treatments are unsatisfactory. Okay, so I'll give you 30 seconds time. Can you answer the question? Noel says uncommon. Hemraj says dangerous. Asha says alternative. Okay, lot of answers here. Okay, and the right answer is E, alternative. Alternative is the correct answer. First person to answer it correctly was Asha. Give a big round of applause for Asha, guys. I hope you guys are clapping wherever you are. Okay, well done, Asha. That was a good answer. Okay, so this is one example of how what kind of questions you'll face in your GRE. Okay, now that was just to show you an example. Okay, now we'll start with the actual tips and techniques, and okay, and we'll see. Okay, all right. Before getting into the tips and techniques, let me show you one more question. Okay. Okay. Again I'll clap for the person who answers it correctly. The question is on your screen. You can read it and answer it. I'll give you 30 seconds exactly. Lily says attacked. Okay. Okay. Where's the energy, guys? I want answers from all of you. D says, Trisha says D. Rohan says exacerbated. Kush says ascertained. Guys, you can just type in the option. Okay. Okay, guys, time's up. And the first person to answer the question correctly was Trilok. A big round of applause for Trilok. Well done, Trilok. That was super fast. Correct answer. The answer is D, exacerbated. Okay, so these kind of questions, okay, almost like fill in the blanks. Now there are other types of questions as well. This is a single blank question. You could you can even get a double blank or a triple blank question. Okay. All right. Now starting with GRE vocab. How to remember words. Okay, we'll see how to remember words. Okay, now guys, how many of you face problems in remembering words while you are learning GRE vocabulary? How many of you face problems in learning words? Ritu faces problems. Okay, Noel, Vatsal, Aditya, Gursharanjit, Ramkumar, Sandeep, Sachin, Ishani. Okay. Okay, all of you, I guess. And that includes me. Correct. Okay, so since there are more than 3,500 words in GRE that we need to remember, that we need to learn, it's not an easy task. It's quite a daunting task to learn all those words. And especially when we are, when we are short of time, and we have to learn it very quickly, it's quite, it's almost impossible. It's not impossible, but yeah, it's quite close to impossible. Okay, but yeah, there are some techniques that will help you, help you remember these words better. Now, what are these techniques? I'll explain. Okay, now guys, consider this. Okay, say you are you met a new person. Okay, you met a very new person. You've never known him before, him or her. You've never known him or her before. Met a new person. What would you call that person? A person who is not, who you don't know. Stranger, correct. Absolutely. You call that person a stranger. Now what happens is you get to you meet somewhere in a party. Okay, you get to introduce each other. Okay, and you get to know each other's name, what your current occupation. Okay, and then you happen to leave. So what is that person now? Vidya says friend. Already a friend? Acquaintance, correct. Correct. Okay, so he is now an acquaintance because you know a little bit of him, you know that person, but you don't know him very well. Okay, all you know is his name, his occupation, okay, very few details of him. Okay, so he's an acquaintance. Okay, now you happen to meet him again in a party, and it so happens that you keep meeting him or her frequently. Okay, all the time, most of the time, and you happen to meet each other at the weekends. Okay, you become quite close. Now what is that person? A friend. Exactly. Okay, so you you can apply the same case to learning of a word. Okay, so same case. Okay, the same case you can apply to learning of a word. Okay, uh, when you don't know a particular word, it's a stranger to you. Okay, then you happen to inquire about it. You happen to try to know what this word is. Then it's called then it's an acquaintance to you, and then you research more about it. Then you know the word particularly, that so much that you start using it in your everyday language. Then it's called your friend. Okay, so these are the three stages of learning a word. Okay, now you know a person can't directly become your friend, correct? Okay, the very first time you meet a new person, he can't be called your friend, correct? Okay, similarly, the very first time you read a word, it can't be your friend. Okay, it's a stranger first, then you get to know it a little, it becomes an acquaintance, then you research more on it, and it becomes a friend. Okay, so you apply the same case with learning a word. Okay, when it's in a stranger stage, when you don't know a particular word, okay, find out the meaning, parts of speech, and usage. How is the sentence? How is the word used? Okay, Uh, when it's in a stranger stage. Okay, once you do this, it'll become an acquaintance to you. Okay, once it's an acquaintance, okay, you start explain the meaning of the word in your own words. Okay, then categorize the word in a category that you find it most suitable in. Okay, 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 yeah. So then you'll start to know more about that word, and it will become your friend. Okay, and then what you have to do is you have to keep speaking or writing using that particular word. Okay, and differentiate the word from other related words. If you do this, then it will become your friend. Okay, now it's very simple to say it like this. Okay, I've told you that all you have to do is identify the meaning, parts of speech, usage. Okay, it looks very simple, but how exactly do we do it? Okay, let's see with some examples. Okay, Trisha is already being okay. Trisha is already asking me for an example. Okay, very good. Okay, I'll show you some examples and tell you exactly how it is done. Okay, let's take the word expropriate. How many of you have heard of the word expropriate? Don't look at the screen, just answer me. How many of you have heard of the word expropriate before? Fateh hasn't heard. Kush has heard. Tisha hasn't heard. Okay, Ritu hasn't. Alright. Okay. Alright, even if you have heard of this word, let's just assume that you haven't. Okay. Let's just assume that expropriate is a word that you have never come across. Okay, Nishta has also heard. Alright. Alright, Nishta. Okay, so we'll just assume that we have never heard of the word and how to approach if this word wasn't known to us. Okay. So expropriate. Okay, suddenly you see this word expropriate. Okay, you don't know what it is. Then what do? You find out the meaning. Okay, so the meaning is to officially take away private property from its owner for public use. Okay, so the meaning is simple: to officially take away private property from its owner for public use. Okay, now that is the meaning. Okay, now we know the meaning. What is expropriate? Now identify the parts of speech. Now here expropriate is a verb. Okay, so guys, why is it a verb? Why not an adjective? Why not a preposition? Why not a noun? Why not a pronoun? Why is it a verb? It's an action. Bang on target, Rohan. Correct. Correct. So any word that describes an action is a verb. Okay. So expropriate describes an action, so it's a verb. Okay. Now we'll see the usage. Okay. The land was expropriated by the state. No. Okay. So that is how it is used. Okay. The land was expropriated by the state. Legislation was introduced to expropriate land from absentee landlords and redistribute it to peasants. The Bolsheviks expropriated the property of the landowners. Okay, so that is how it is used in sentence. Okay, now the first stage is fine, knowing a word. Okay, now you might ask me, okay, the meaning is fine, usage is fine. What is the parts of speech doing here? Why do I have to learn the parts of speech as well? How many of you have this question in mind? Can't I just go away with the meaning? Why do I need to learn the parts of speech? How many of you have that question in mind? Aditya has, Ritu has, Shiva has, Vatsal has, Trilok has, Trisha has, okay. Aditya again has, Rohan has, okay, we have two Adityas here. Alright. Sandeep has, okay, great. Okay, I'll tell you, that's actually a very good question. I'll explain it as we go forward. Okay, so now the first stage, now you know the first stage when you are knowing a word. What are the three steps you got to do? What are the three steps you have to do, guys? Okay, when it comes to knowing a word, what are the three steps you have to do? Alright, correct. Okay, meaning, parts of speech, and then usage. Okay, so clear till now? This is clear? Alright. Okay, coming to the second stage. Okay, Hemraj is very clear. Okay, thank you. Alright. Okay, so guys, I want all of you to respond to my questions. Okay, it might be a very simple question that I would ask you, but I want all of you to respond, since we cannot see each other. I cannot see you, you cannot see me. It's very important for me to know that you guys are responding, you guys are listening to me. Okay, so please respond, do respond to my questions. Alright, deal? Okay, great. I like that energy. Okay. Okay, step 2, understand the word. Get now, what do we do in for understanding the word? Get writing in your language, create your usage statements. Okay, so let's see. By expropriating, we acquire personal property officially from its owners for a common purpose. So it's an explanation. Okay, so it's explained how we use that word expropriate. Okay, so it says, by expropriating, we acquire personal property officially from its owners for a common purpose. Okay, for example, the act of acquiring the land for laying a road or building a dam is expropriation. Okay, all right. So create your own usage statement, writing in your own language. But when I say writing in your own language, it doesn't mean I'm asking you to write in Hindi, Tamil, Telugu. Okay, writing in your own language means try to express it in your own words in English. Okay, I don't mind even if you write it in your own language, Hindi, Tamil, Telugu, Malayalam. Okay, I don't mind, but okay, you should be able to understand it very quickly. Okay, okay, if converting it into your own language is helping you, then you should definitely do that. Okay, so okay, so understanding how it's used, understanding how it is used, writing in your own language. Okay, that is the second stage of understanding the word. Okay, now that is not enough here. Okay, now I'll ask you a question, guys. Tell me, who is your idol? Who is the person that inspires you the most? Name a person who inspires you the most. Okay, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, Nelson Mandela, Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, Leander Pace, Jayaprakash Narayan, okay, Pranav Mistry, Sachin Tendulkar, Lin Dan, okay, James Cameron. Alright, who else? Okay. Alright, guys. So let's take Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam for example. Okay, let's take Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam for example, since every one of us know him here. Okay, so if I ask you, name what is the GRE word that comes to your mind when we say Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam? What is the GRE word that comes to your mind when we say APJ Abdul Kalam? Prominent, eminent, scientist, renowned, erudite, unique, motivating, elite, profound, hard worker, Dexter, okay, famous, diligent, sage, pundit, altruistic. Alright, so okay, just by saying one a famous celebrity's name, we were able to write so many GRE words, correct? Okay, so many GRE words were used to describe his personality. Okay, so when the next time when I when anyone the word that you used, next time whenever you come across that word, wouldn't you remember Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam? Correct, of course. Okay, so so that is one technique how you should go about learning the words. Okay, you what you have to do is you you have to classify the words in a homogeneous groups. Okay, say for example the words related to personalities. Okay, the words that describe personalities, you can put those in one group. Okay, the words describing weather, you can put those in another group. Okay, the words that signify actions, you can put those in one group. Okay, so I'll give you another example. Words like gluttony, hunger, okay, voraciousness. Okay, words like this you can put in a group called food. Okay, since they all are related to the word food. Okay, when you do this, when you classify words ravenous, correct Gurpinder. Okay, so when you classify these words with respect to something that you can identify, something you can relate to, okay, it's much more easier to remember them. Okay, so when you put some 5 words in a homogeneous group that you can relate to, you'll say, okay, this word is related to that particular group. That will strike in your mind much easier. Okay, so that is called thematic classification of words. Okay, talking of which, GREedge has a theme based word list of more than 4,500 GRE words. Okay, so you can request me for the link at the end of the seminar, or you can just copy the link that you see on screen. Okay, but I think it's too tedious, so you can request the link at the end of the seminar. I'll provide the link to you. Okay, so that is one more technique, thematic classification of words. Okay, now by this time, once you classify the words thematically, you'll uh, you'll be able to convert the word from acquaintance stage to a friend stage. Now taking the word into a friend stage isn't enough. Okay, so once a word becomes a friend, you have to more researchy about it. You have to research more and gather more information on it. Okay, so that it should be the word should be so familiar that you can use it in your normal daily usage. Okay, so once you reach the third stage, you use the words in speaking or writing. Okay, whenever you are talking to your parents, your professors, or your manager, or your team leader, okay, or anyone important, you can use those words in your daily conversations, or your emails to professors, managers, or team leaders again. Okay, you can use those. The more you use it in speaking or writing, the better memory you will have. Okay, even with friends, while you're talking, use them. Okay, I know your friends will tease you. Okay, but you should not be worried about that. Okay, ultimately at the end of the day, what you'll do is you'll be you'll be doing much more good for your GRE than than a small a teasing statement from your friend. Correct. Guys, yeah, you can stop me if you think I'm telling something wrong. Okay, all right. Okay, so apply the word, use the words in speaking or writing. Okay, so let's see a few examples. That recent revision of government land value for property is a bliss for the people who are affected by expropriation of lands for widening the national highways. Now they will get a lump sum amount as a compensation. Okay, so guys, now since you know how to how to go about learning words, can you form a sentence, your own sentence using the word expropriate? Guys, can you form your own sentence using the word expropriate? Yes, Nikhil, definitely try. Guys, all of you try. Say it's okay if it's wrong. Doesn't matter. Expropriate the king through the state which he created. Ishani, can you improvise it? Can you try another one? The slum dwellers felt despondent after the government expropriated their land. Very good, Rohan. The government expropriated our neighbor's land due to road widening in our area. Correct, Sumant? The recent expropriation of the Cocoa House by the Nigerian government was done in the interest of the people of Lagos. Okay, okay, Ali, that's very good statement. Many of the villagers were sent to rehab centers due to the emotional trauma caused by expropriation of the land. Very good, Vatsal, superb. All lands and borders of state have been expropriated due to state division. Correct, Himraj. Yeah, correct, Ishani, it's correct. Alright. Government expropriated farmers' land in our village. Correct, Arun. That's right, Arun. But guys, you can also try a little more complex statements. Okay. All right. Okay. Now, for now, we'll move on to the next topic. Okay. All right. Now, application of the word. Now, how many times, guys? How many times has it happened to you that all the 4-5 options in a GRE question seems the same? How many times has it happened that when you are answering a question, all the options do sound similar? You don't know which one, we don't know which one to tick, which one is the right option. How many times has it happened to you? Gurpinder says awful number of times. Same is the case with me, Gurpinder. Okay, many times. Okay, Rohan says very often. Vatsal says many times. Okay, so that is definitely a problem, isn't it, guys? If you don't know the correct answer, you're losing your marks in GRE. Correct. Okay, so how do we how do we overcome that problem? Okay, let's see. Okay, now there are similar words. Okay, we just saw expropriate. Okay, the similar words, the words that are similar to expropriate are misappropriate, appropriate, deprive, and divest. Okay, these four words are of similar meaning to expropriate. Okay, now we'll see what is the subtle difference between these words. Okay, now expropriate is a verb that that we discussed, and you guys also asked me what is the use of parts of speech. Okay, now I'm going to tell you that now. Okay, and now expropriate is a verb since it defines an action. Okay, it means to officially take away private property from its owner for public use. Okay, now how is it different from appropriate? Guys, without looking at the screen, can you guys tell me what is the uh, meaning of the word appropriate? What do you mean by appropriate? Appropriate, Trilok says appropriate means correct. Rohit also says appropriate means correct. Ritu says appropriate means proper. Suri says take away illegally. Okay. Alright. So guys, there are two meanings of appropriate. Okay. One one meaning is correct or proper. Okay, that we use every day. Okay. If someone asks you, is it appropriate? You says, yeah, it's appropriate. Okay. So that is the common meaning that we know. Okay. Another meaning is to take away illegally. Appropriate means to take somebody's ideas, etc. for your own use, especially illegally or without permission. Okay. So now the meaning when we use it as a synonym of the word correct, of the word proper, it's an adjective. Okay. It tells the quality of a noun. Okay. And when we are using it in terms of taking away something illegally, it's a verb. It defines an action. Okay, so here there are two meanings. Okay, one is an adjective. Two meanings of the word appropriate. One is an adjective and one is a verb. Okay, so if you don't know what if the word appropriate is to be used as a verb or an adjective, you wouldn't know how to form a sentence. Correct? Would you know how to form a sentence if you don't know the parts of speech? No, that's why we have to know what is the parts of speech of that particular word. Okay. Okay. So when there is a statement, and when there is a sentence equivalence question, and you don't know what is the parts of speech of that word. Okay. Okay. Both the options of that particular question, will sound the same. Okay. So it's very important to identify the parts of speech of that question, of that word. I'm sorry. Okay. So does that answer your question? Why is parts of speech necessary? Maggie says yes. Navya says yes. Okay. Okay. Now coming to misappropriate. Misappropriate is quite simple. Okay. Appropriate is the root word, and miss is the prefix. So whenever there is a prefix called miss, okay, you can take it for granted then that there's a trust element, or there's a trust element involved. Okay, it means to take somebody else's money or property for yourself, especially when they have trusted you to take care of it. Okay, say you have given your car to someone, and you have gone to your hometown, and by the time you come, you realize that your car has been sold to somebody else. Okay, so that kind of thing is misappropriation. Okay. All right. Now coming to the next two words, deprive. Now deprive, you also might have heard of the word deprive. Deprive means to prevent somebody from having or doing something, especially something important. Okay. I was deprived of giving today's online seminar. Deprive is equal to lack. Yes, Gurpinder, you're right. Okay. So something like that. Okay. Guys, can you form a sentence using the word deprive? Guys, I want you to be quick, very quick. Okay, I was deprived of my speaking skills in our English lab. Okay, Sumant, the sentence is formation is correct, but deprive is not supposed to be used in this context. Okay, you can use the word deprive when it is taken away from something. If something has been taken away from you, then you say I am deprived of it. Okay, speaking skills are not taken away from you, correct? I was sleep deprived during exams. Correct. Very good. Trisha, you are right. Okay. The poor are deprived of using their vote on their own. Correct, Maggie. Vijay, I deprived a major accident is not a very good usage. Okay. You can try it again, Vijay. Okay. Guys, also keep in mind that most of the time uh, deprived is a word that is used with the word of. Okay, deprived of. Okay, if you want to use it in a past tense, it will be more like deprived of. I was deprived of, he was deprived of, they were deprived of. Okay, children were deprived of fundamental rights. Correct, Arun? No one shall be deprived of his or her property. Correct. Okay, I see. All right, so you guys got it. Okay, now coming to divest. Divest means it means to take something or something away from someone or something else. Okay, example, he was divested of his title, power, or dignity. Okay, so you guys, can you see the subtle difference between all those four words? Can you guys see the subtle difference between all the four words? All the five, I'm sorry. Yes? Guys, I need all of you to acknowledge. Okay. Otherwise, I won't know if you are understanding or not. Okay, great. Now, okay, now you've taken the word through those three stages. Okay, stranger stage, acquaintance stage, and friend stage. Okay, now now it might be a friend. Okay, you must have remembered the word very well. Okay, but there can also be chances that in in a longer period of time, in a longer duration of time, you might forget it. Okay, in that case, what is more suitable for remembering the words is to learn with pictures. Okay, so if you have a word and you have a picture of it, okay, then it'll help you remember even better than just to read the text. Okay, visual long-term memory has a massive storage capacity for object details. You can remember words with the help of pictures associated with it. Okay, now it's just how the human brain acts turns out to be. Okay, if you see a picture, if you see the meaning of a word with a picture, and if you see a meaning of a word in text form, it's more likely that you will remember the picture than the text. Correct? Yes, Trilok, to answer your question, yes, GREedge has word list with pictures. I'll come to that later. Okay, I'll tell you. Okay, so guys, you tell me, if I give you a picture and if and I give you a textual explanation, what are you going to approach first, a picture or a textual explanation? Picture, right? Is that what you'll really do, or you guys are just saying because I told you? Guys, really? Okay, Fateh says really. Will really do, says Trilok. Correct. Okay, so that is how the human brain works. Even if you don't want to, human brain works just like that. Correct. Okay, now guys, would you like to see some words along with pictures and how to learn them? Would that be fun? Yes. All right. So we'll see some words. Okay, the first word here is equanimity. Okay, a calm state of mind, which means that you do not become angry or upset, especially in difficult situations. Okay, so equanimity means a calm state of mind, which means that you do not become angry or upset, especially in difficult situations. Okay, so you guys see a monk sitting there in, you know, in peace. A monk sitting there in peace, nobody is disturbing him. Okay, so that's equanimity. Okay, the parts of speech is noun. Okay, she accepted the prospect of her operation with equanimity. That is the usage statement. Okay, so now guys, whenever you come across the word equanimity, what is the picture you'll imagine? A monk. Correct. This, guys, even if you try to forget, okay, even if you try to forget, a few days later, whenever you come across the word equanimity, this picture will struck your mind, because this is what you've learned. This is what is connected with equanimity. Yes, Pankaj, that's right. Okay, so can you give another example of a person who exhibits equanimity? Any celebrity who exhibits equanimity? Dhoni. That's the name. That's the name I was looking for. Correct. Okay. So instead of the pressure situations, Dhoni exhibits what? Dhoni exhibits equanimity. Rahul Dravid, you can also say that. Okay. Okay, guys, equanimity doesn't mean being a sage or being a goodness. It's not a measure of goodness in nature. Okay, Be- equanimity is a calm state of mind. Okay, even if it's something is very much upsetting you, and it's, yeah, composure. Correct. If Even if something is upsetting you and you're becoming angry, you are not exhibiting it, you are not showing it. Okay, you have a calm peace of mind, you are taking it in. Okay, you're not becoming angry. So that kind of state of mind is equanimity. Okay, so what I see is the best person to give to to take best person to name as an example is Dhoni. Okay, okay, all right, so we'll move on to the next word. Okay, crestfallen. The next word is crestfallen. Okay, meaning sad and disappointed because you have failed and you did not expect to. Okay, hopeless and gloomy. Correct. Parts of speech is adjective. So you can see in the picture there are two cricketers. Hopefully, if I am not wrong, they are uh, Alistair Cook and Andrew Strauss after their defeat in Ashes. Okay, I'm not sure if I'm right, but I am guessing. Okay, so you can see them. They're very dejected. They're very disappointed. Okay, they tried hard, but they couldn't win. They couldn't get the result that they were expecting for. Correct? Okay, so they are crestfallen. After losing its last game, the team was crestfallen. He came back empty-handed and crestfallen. Correct. So guys, can you form a sentence using the word crestfallen? Quickly, guys, quickly form a sentence using the word crestfallen. Saina Nehwal was crestfallen after losing the game. Correct, Rohit? After losing the bet, she was crestfallen. Correct, Gurpinder? Guys, why not try a little bit complex statement? Sonia Gandhi was crestfallen following the unexpected election results. Correct, Trisha? He was crestfallen after his mediocre performance at the tryouts. Very good, Manoj. Alright, so guys, whenever you come across the word crestfallen, what is the picture that will come to your mind? Okay, Fateh says cricketers. Alright, Fateh, cricketers are not always crestfallen. Correct, correct. Yeah. Hemraj, that is not a right usage statement. Okay, can you try another one? Okay. So guys, so that is how learning words using pictures. It's that is how it will impact your learning. Okay, it will help you remember much. It will help you remember much better. Okay, so as soon as you come across that word, you'll instantly have that particular picture in mind. Okay, so it's always good to learn with pictures. Okay. Okay, since we are running out of time, I'll quickly jump on to RC section of GRE verbal. Okay, reading comprehension section. Before starting it, let me ask you, how many of you are really scared of GRE RC section, reading comprehension? Rohan says nightmare. Okay, Ishani is not as scared. Okay, good. Trilok is scared. Trisha is pretty scared. Pankaj says I have 60% accuracy. Okay. Alright, I see most of you are scared. Okay. Alright. So let's discuss how to approach the RC section. Now I'll show you a sentence. Read it very quickly and tell me what did you understand from it, or rather, why did you understand this statement? Supernova triggered star formation. How many of you understood this? Okay. Vatsal, Sumant, Rohan, Gurpinder, Trilok, Sumant, Sachin, Shiva. Okay, so that was an easy sentence, wasn't it? Okay. So what made you understand this statement, guys? What made you understand this statement? The triggered verb, active star formation, triggered word, easy word usage. Okay. Okay. Okay, I'll tell you. Okay, it was easy to read, simple sentence. Okay, it was easy to understand. There was only one idea. Supernova triggered star formation, straight and simple. Okay, easy to retain in memory. Correct? Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. Isn't that why you understood the statement? Right. Even if I ask you even if I wake you up in the middle of the night and ask you what was the sentence, you will say supernova triggered star formation. Correct? You'll remember it. Okay. All right. I'll show you one more sentence. Okay. I'll read it out for you. If a supernova, the explosion of a massive star, triggered star formation from dense clouds of gas and dust, and if the most massive star to be formed from the cloud evolved into a supernova and triggered a new round of star formation and so on, then a chain of star-forming regions would result, and if many such chains were created in a differentially rotating galaxy, the distribution of stars would resemble the observed distribution in a spiral galaxy. So how many of you understood this? All right. Vatsal did, Gurpinder did. Fateh says quit. Okay. Don't quit, Fateh. Don't quit. I'll tell you how to approach. In and then out. Okay. So it was hard to read. It was a complex sentence. Correct? Agree with me? Hard to understand. About 5 ideas. Hard to retain in memory. Okay. So that is why it was quite difficult. It was a complex sentence. Okay. It had more than one idea. It had about 5 ideas. Okay. And it was hard to retain in memory. Okay. So that is the reason why you couldn't understand. Okay. So that is the kind of passages that you'll get in GRERC. Okay. Okay. Now the complexity and organization strain the limits of short-term memory. Okay. Now there is something called short-term memory. Okay. While we are reading a statement, while we are reading a sentence, as we are moving from the first word to the last word. Okay. If we forget the what was the first word we read, would you be able to understand what the sentence is? No, not at all. Okay. So there is something called short-term memory. What that does is, while you are reading a sentence, okay, it helps you remember what was the first word as you approach the last word. Okay. So once you're done reading, it helps you keep a very short term memory of the sentence, and then you understand the whole sentence at one go. Okay. So it often requires us to read the sentence several times in order to understand it. Okay. When the sentence is too long, okay, while you're reading, you'll forget what is the initial part. Correct? Okay. So how many times has it happened that you don't understand the sentence and you go on to read it twice or thrice? Has it happened to you? Ritu says innumerable times. Okay. Many times. Always, says Rohit. Sometimes, says Vatsal. 50% of the time, says Gurpinder. Many times. Okay. Okay. And what will happen, guys? What will happen if if the same thing happens with you in GRE? If you had to read it twice or thrice in your GRE exam? If you have to read it twice or thrice in the GRE exam as well, what will happen? We'll lose a lot of time. Correct? Right. We'll be deprived of good scores. Shiva is still using the usage statements. Great. Sachin says gayab hoga. Okay. All right. Okay. So we cannot afford to do that in the GRE exam, since time is very precious. It's yeah, we have to do it very quickly. Okay. So what we have to do is we need break in the flow of ideas. Okay. When the sentence is very long, so we need to break it down. Okay. We need to break it down into small parts so that each part is understandable, and then you move on to the next part that is understandable. Then you move on to the next part which is understandable. Okay. And in overall, you'll understand the whole passage. Okay. So we have to break it down into smaller parts. Okay. Yes, Fateh. Yes, definitely. I'll show you an example. Okay. Don't worry. Okay. We can break the long sentence into more manageable units from which ideas can be understood. Okay. So whenever there is a long sentence, you need to break it down. Now it's not like you have to, you can break it down after every word. If you do that, it won't make sense. Okay. So you need to know where exactly to break it down so that it makes sense, as well as you understand the statement well. Okay. All right. Okay. Now before discussing before discussing that, let me ask you, what is a passage? What do you think is a passage, guys? Yes, Vatsal, I'll show you an example. Okay. Flow of ideas. Gurpinder is right on target. Organizing ideas. Okay. Group of sentences. Vijay, are they just group of sentences? Okay, I'll tell you. Passage is just a flow of ideas spread over a number of paragraphs. Okay. Now you can see, like in the image on your screen. Okay, ideas, lot of ideas. Okay, put together. Okay, in different paragraphs, in various paragraphs, it constitutes a passage. That's an RC passage. Okay, correct. Okay, now understanding a passage. Now there were three steps of learning a word. Okay, similarly there are three steps of understanding a passage as well. Okay, first is to extract ideas, second is to relate ideas, and then third is to draw conclusions. Okay, now extract the independent ideas from the statements. Now as soon as you read a sentence, okay, you should extract the idea behind it. What is the idea behind it? Why is the author saying this particular line? You should have a definitive idea of what is the author trying to say. Okay, then relate those ideas. Now as I said, it's a flow of ideas. Okay, you try to relate those ideas. The first idea would definitely relate to the second idea. How is it related? That you have to figure out. Okay, understand the flow of argument. Okay. So it's not like an author who is writing the passage, he'll put some random sentences together and give it to you as an RC passage. No. Okay, he'll whatever he writes will make sense. Okay, the first sentence to the second sentence, it will make sense. There will be some flow in the argument. Okay, you have to identify the flow. Okay, then third is to draw conclusion. Okay, now once you do that, okay, what is the main idea behind it? What is the purpose of the passage? Okay, why is the author writing this article? What is the purpose behind writing this article? Put yourself in the writer's shoes. Okay, put yourself in the author's shoes. Okay, and infer from it, what is he trying to say? Why is he trying to convey it? Okay, who is he referring to? Okay, if you can reason that, okay, RC passages will be much easier. Okay, now let's see. Okay, now we said we just talked about breaking long sentences into shorter ones. Okay, now how exactly do we do that? Any idea, guys? How exactly do we break a long sentence into shorter one? Any idea? Trilok says no idea. Suman says conjunction. Superb. Shiva says separated by semicolons. Correct? Okay, I'll tell you. As Suman said, conjunctions, there are something called conjunctions. Conjunctions are those words which are used to join two or more phrases. Okay, conjunctions are conjunctions are parts of speech. The words which are used to join two or more phrases. Okay, so you guys must have heard of conjunctions. Okay, now there are two types of conjunctions: coordinating conjunctions in a long sentence, Okay, coordinating conjunctions as well as subordinating conjunctions. Okay, I'll tell you what are they. Okay, now guys, can anyone tell me what are coordinating conjunctions? Can anyone tell me what are coordinating conjunctions? Yes, you can see them on the screen. What are coordinating conjunctions? Okay, let me tell you. Okay, coordinating conjunctions are those conjunctions which are used to join uh, clauses of a sentence. Okay, and yet they give equal importance to both of the phrases, both of the clauses in a sentence. Okay, if you take any example and say there's a coordinating conjunction, take the word and. Okay, and is used to join two statements. Okay, when you use the word and in a statement, that means you are giving equal importance to both the sentence before the word and after the word and. Okay, so that kind of a uh, conjunction is called a coordinating conjunction. You can see the examples on the screen: for, so, nor, or, and, yet, but. Okay, now coming to subordinating conjunctions. Okay, subordinating conjunctions are those conjunctions which are used to join two statements, but they give importance to one of the statement than the other. Okay, they give more importance to one of the statements than the other. Okay, so you can see the example of subordinating conjunctions on the screen: after, until, unless, because, whenever, although, before, while. Okay, so guys, clear till now? Okay, okay, right. So apart from subordinating and coordinating conjunctions, there are also punctuations that you should look after. Okay, whenever there are punctuations in a RC passage, you should be absolutely sure that okay, absolutely sure that you can segment the RC passage in shorter parts. Okay, comma, semicolon, colon, hyphen. Okay, whenever there are these kind of punctuation marks, then you can segment the RC passage to understand them better. Okay, all right. So guys, shall we look at an example of an RC passage? Yes. Okay, Trisha is ready. Trilok is ready. Navya, Ritu, Rohit. Okay, all right. Okay, in the 19th century, when women began to enter factories, Jules Simon, a French politician, warned that by doing so, women would give up their femininity. Friedrich Engels, however, predicted that women would be liberated from the social, legal, and economic subordination of the family by technological developments that made possible the recruitment of the whole female sex into public industry. Observers thus differed on the social effects of mechanization, but they agreed that it would transform women's lives. Okay, so how many of you understood this passage? Manoj, Hemraj, Ishani, Gurpinder, Ritu, Rohit, Trisha. Okay, all right. Shall we dissect this passage? Okay. Now, how many sentences are there? There are three sentences. Okay, I have marked them in red, black, and red. Okay, Gurpinder, this is just a small intercept from an actual RC passage from GRE. Okay, the actual RC passages will be much longer and quite a bit tougher. Okay. So there are three sentences. In the 19th century, when women began to enter factories, Jules Simon, a French politician, warned that by doing so, women would give up their femininity. That is the first sentence. Okay. Then the second sentence is in the black in is has been typed in black, and the third sentence again it's in red. Okay. Now let's see each of the statements individually. Okay. Now we'll see each of the segment individually and we'll see what does it convey. In the 19th century, when women began to enter factories, so what does it convey, guys? What does it convey? Women started to work, say Ishani. Okay. Women entered professional life. Correct? Okay, let's see. Women entered industry in the 19th century. That was very simple. Okay. Now coming to the second segment, Jules Simon, a French politician, warned that by doing so, women would give up their femininity. Okay. So what does this mean? Jules Simon, a French politician. Okay. Now he is introducing a character here and he is describing who he is, a French politician. Okay. Warned that by doing so, women would give up their femininity. Okay. So Simon felt women will lose their femininity, okay, if they started working. Okay. The conventional thinking. Okay. So the Jules Simon started to think that women will lose their femininity if they start working. Correct. Okay. So now what is next? So that there ends the first sentence. So what is next? Friedrich Engels, however, yes, I'm sorry. There's a Yeah, Gurpinder, thanks for pointing out. It should be LOSE and not LOOSE. Okay. Thanks for pointing out. There's a typo in here. Okay. Now coming to the next segment, Friedrich Engels. However, now whenever there is a word however, what can we expect? Whenever we use the word however, what can we expect? A contradiction. Correct. A contrast. Okay. So Engels felt women will be liberated because of technological development. Okay. So Frederick had a quite a different opinion. Okay. It may not be the opposite of what Simon felt, but it was quite different. Okay. He said women will be liberated because of technological development. Okay. That made possible through recruitment of the whole female sex into public industry. Okay. Now technological developments made recruitment of women in large numbers. Okay. That's what it meant. Okay. Recruitment of the whole female sex into public industry. So large number of women, okay, would start going to factories, start working, employment. Okay, correct. Then now observers just differed on the social effects of mechanization. Okay. Okay, observers had differences of opinion on social effects of mechanization. Okay, like just we saw there were opinion differences between Jules Simon and Friedrich Engels. Okay, similarly, most of the observers had differences of opinion on the social effects of mechanization, but they agreed that it would transform women's lives. They agreed that it would change their lives, change the women's lives. Okay, crystal clear till now? So understood how to approach an RC passage, a brand new RC passage. What are the three steps that we need to? What are the three steps that we need to keep in mind to approach an RC passage. Let me just check your let me just check your memory. Okay. Gurpinder is bang on target. Extract, relate, and conclude. Superb. Okay. Extract ideas, relate ideas, and then conclude. Okay. So that is how you approach an RC passage. So guys, now after this, do you think you can handle RC passages easily?